Welcome to the world of basketball. Today, we delve into the saga of Domantas Sabonis, the underdog who found himself overlooked in the All-Star selection. When we talk about Sabonis, we're talking about a player who has been turning heads with his phenomenal statistics. Let's take a look at the numbers. Sabonis, a Lithuanian powerhouse, has been averaging 19.9 points per game. Yes, you heard that right. Almost 20 points every time he steps onto the court. But that's not all. He's also been pulling down a league-leading 13 rebounds per game. That's more than any other player in the NBA. But Sabonis isn't just a scoring and rebounding machine. He's also a facilitator, averaging an impressive 8 assists per game. That's the kind of all-around performance that makes a player invaluable to their team. It's the kind of performance that should make a player an all-star. In fact, since the 1st of January, 2024, Sabonis has been leading the entire NBA in combined rebounds and assists. Now, that's a statistic that should make everyone sit up and take notice. It's a testament to his versatility, his ability to impact the game in multiple ways. It's a testament to his value. And yet, when the All-Star reserves were announced, Sabonis' name was nowhere to be found. Despite his outstanding performance, despite the undeniable impact he's had on his team and on the league as a whole, he was overlooked. With such remarkable numbers, one would assume an all-star spot was guaranteed. But alas, it wasn't to be. The question now is, why? Why was a player of Sabonis' caliber, a player who has been performing at such a high level, overlooked for the All-Star game? It's a question that needs to be answered. It's a question that we'll be exploring in the coming scenes. So stay tuned, because this story is far from over. And the surprises don't end there. Sabonis has achieved an astonishing 13 triple-doubles this season. That's right, folks, 13. This Lithuanian powerhouse is not just scoring, he's distributing the ball and cleaning the glass with equal finesse. This feat puts him in the same league as the reigning Finals MVP, the Serbian center, Nikola Jokic, the only man who has outdone Sabonis in this regard. But let's not forget, we're talking about a man who is widely recognized as one of the best big men in the game today. So for Sabonis to be rubbing shoulders with such elite company, it's a testament to his abilities and his impact on the court. And speaking of impact, let's delve a little deeper. Sabonis doesn't just rack up numbers, he influences the game on both ends of the floor. Whether it's his ability to score in the paint, his uncanny knack for finding the open man, or his relentless pursuit of every rebound, Sabonis is a true two-way player. Now let's put his 13 triple-doubles into perspective. Only a handful of players in the history of the league have managed to achieve this feat in a single season. It's a rare occurrence, something that only the truly great players can accomplish. And yet, here we have Sabonis, doing it with seeming ease. But it's not just about the numbers. It's about the versatility. Sabonis is proving that he can do it all. He can score, he can rebound, and he can assist. He's a triple threat on the court, a player who can influence the game in multiple ways, and that's what makes him so special. So when we look at the All-Star selection process, we have to ask ourselves, what more does a player need to do to earn a spot? Sabonis is putting up historic numbers, he's leading his team, and he's doing it all while playing some of the best basketball of his career. With such versatility, Sabonis' absence from the All-Star lineup raises eyebrows. When the All-Star reserves were announced, the absence of Sabonis was a shock to many. A player who has been lighting up the league with his incredible stats and performances, Sabonis was expected to be a shoo-in for the All-Star lineup. Yet, when the names were revealed, his was conspicuously missing. Instead, the Western Conference frontcourt spots went to Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, and Karl Anthony Towns. All formidable players, no doubt, but it begged the question, where was Sabonis? He had been outperforming many, leading the league in combined rebounds and assists, and even notching up 13 triple-doubles this season. Yet his name was nowhere to be found on the All-Star roster. Despite his exceptional performances, Sabonis found himself sidelined. It was a snub that left many scratching their heads and asking, what more does Sabonis need to do to earn his rightful place among the All-Stars? Sabonis' recent performance has been nothing short of spectacular, cementing his place in the league's elite. We're talking about a game that had jaws dropping all over the world, a performance that will echo through the annals of NBA history. In a single stunning display, Domantas Sabonis racked up a stat line that reads like a basketball player's dream: 20 points, 26 rebounds, and 5 assists. And if that weren't enough, he did it all while shooting an astonishing 10 out of 11 from the floor. This wasn't just a great game. This was a performance that transcends time and place, placing Sabonis in the company of the greats. Only one other player in the history of the NBA has achieved such a feat, and that player? None other than the legendary Wilt Chamberlain, a man whose name is synonymous with basketball excellence. Think about that for a moment. In the entire history of the NBA, only 2 players have managed to post a stat line of at least 20 points, 26 rebounds, and 5 assists while shooting over 90% from the floor. One is a Hall of Famer, a man universally recognized as one of the greatest players of all time. The other is a player who, despite his undeniable talent and jaw-dropping performances, found himself overlooked when it came to the All-Star selection process. It's a discrepancy that raises questions. If a player can perform at such a high level, if he can put up numbers that place him in the company of the legendary Wilt Chamberlain, then what does it say about the All-Star selection process that overlooked him? In the face of such impressive stats, the All-Star snub seems even more perplexing. It's a reminder that sometimes, even in the world of professional sports, the best don't always get the recognition they deserve. But one thing is clear. Domantas Sabonis has proved himself to be one of the best, and his performance will not be forgotten. Stepping back to the previous season, Sabonis' record was already making waves. He was not just another player in the league, but a force to be reckoned with. He was putting up numbers that were not just impressive, but historic. In that season, Sabonis joined an exclusive club, one that only has room for 2. The other member? None other than the legendary Wilt Chamberlain, a name synonymous with basketball greatness. Their common bond? Both of them averaged at least 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists in a season, while shooting 60% or better from the field. Let's pause for a moment to let that sink in. Sabonis, a player in our time, in this era of basketball, had a season that could be placed side by side with one of Chamberlain's. This is the same Chamberlain who once scored 100 points in a single game. The same Chamberlain who holds numerous unbroken records in the NBA. Sabonis' achievement is not just about big numbers, but about versatility, consistency, and efficiency. He was putting up almost 20 points a game, leading the rebounding efforts and dishing out assists, all while maintaining an incredibly high shooting percentage. But what makes this even more extraordinary is the rarity of such a feat. In the long, storied history of the NBA, only 2 players have managed to reach these heights in a single season. It's like finding a rare gem or witnessing a comet streak across the sky. You don't see it often, but when you do, it's a spectacle to behold. And yet, despite these historical numbers, despite the fact that Sabonis was echoing the feats of one of the greatest players the game has ever known, he was left out of the All-Star selection. The question then is not about whether Sabonis is an All-Star caliber player. The numbers, the history, the comparisons, they all scream a resounding yes. The question is, why was such an accomplished player overlooked? With these historical numbers, Sabonis' All-Star omission seems even more baffling. The question remains, why the snub? The Kings' De'Aaron Fox is having a career-best season, yet Sabonis was overlooked. Fox, the Kings' point guard, is averaging an impressive 27.2 points per game, making him the 9th highest scorer in the NBA. His shooting from beyond the arc is also noteworthy, with a commendable 38% accuracy. These numbers are no doubt impressive, but do they eclipse Sabonis' performances? Sabonis, with his consistent triple-doubles and dominant presence on both ends of the court, has proven his worth time and time again. His stats aren't just great, they're historic. Yet, when the All-Star reserves were announced, his name was conspicuously absent. It seems that despite his consistent and superior performances, Sabonis remains unjustly overlooked. The Kings' dilemma is indeed a perplexing one.